Sup, you chuckle fucks? It's your boy Dark Raku here with What If Issei Has Changed Part 3. Now I know a lot of you people have actually been waiting for Part 3. Yes, because I know some people be asking me, where's Part 3 of this? Where's Part 3 of What If Issei Has Changed? Where's this one? Where's that one? Yes, I also see that mostly a lot of people have actually watched mostly Part 2 for 210 views, but not the point. Because there is a 210 views, but not the point. Let me begin since What If. There's also mostly, 19 likes in the video, but not the point. But not the fucking point. Let me just begin this What If. Let me shut the fuck up and let me begin. So we begin into Issei. Issei is, well, not really Issei, but mostly a situation where mostly Issei already has his sword unsheathed. And right now cutting down a devil. This is where he cuts down the devil and kills him in an instant. The devil goes, he couldn't react fast enough. This is where, well, multiple devils, like high-ranking devils, and also like mostly those devil guards are horrified. The only reason why this actually is a situation happening is because the devils notice mostly Kaneko's kind of like features, mostly her Nekomaru powers actually awakening. Because when both Issei and also Kaneko got back towards mostly where all the situations happening, all the like stuff like the party and whatever, for mostly the alliance between Oda and other stuff. Mostly the devils notice, well, mostly the Nekomaru actually have 3 tails, and of course her white ears right now on top of her head. So three white tails. This is where, well, mostly making everyone kind of notice this. Of course, she wasn't in a berserk state. She was actually back into her normal state, but this is where, well, mostly a lot of people didn't like that at all because, well, a lot of devils do not like Nekomaru at all. This is where, well, even if they're mostly into incarnation, they still despise them, but yeah. And of course, one noble devil decides to tell some of the guards to grab her and kill her in an instant, which mostly scared Koneko in an instant, realizing that all the people hate her. But of course, what she wasn't expecting is when the devil guard was about to reach towards her, Issei grabbed him from the neck in an instant, pulls out his sword, and of course sliced this guy's head off and threw his body away. This is where, well, making the high-ranking devils realize that, well, the other person, who is actually considered to be the Red Dragon Emperor, is right now defending the Nekomaru, which angered a lot of them. This is where, well, mostly Kaneko was scared, actually wondering why Issei even protected her, which she's a monster and she would not even mind dying that much, but she's still scared of death because death is death. And this is where, well, instead of Issei kind of letting it happen, he actually protected her. This is where, well, Issei looks at the devils who are actually the devil guards rushing towards him. Ah! This is where, well, before they even reach Issei, Issei swings his sword once in front of him. All of their heads were cut off in an instant. One of the high-ranking devils was saying, "Damn it! Kill them now! Kill them now!" Now, of course, there was a situation between mostly the, Loki situation, which mostly mostly, Ajuka, Beelzebub, and also the others, like mostly, sorry, why am I forgetting names so easily? Mostly, Lucifer, Cersei, Lucifer, and also Seraphon, Leviathan kind of heard this, and this is where, well, Odin also heard this, and there's, Azo, and Michael's not there, but, or he is there, but he's mostly, right now next to, mostly his angel, being that of, mostly Incarnation Angel, his ace, being that of Irina, and Irina sees the situation. And this is where all of them are shocked to see mostly Issei cut down a bunch of devils' heads, because the high-ranking noble devil wants to just kill the Nekomaru. But of course, Cersei was about to try to stop this, even courageously. Now, of course, Rias is nowhere to be found. Where the fuck she is at, no one knows. Issei does not care. If he has to go fucking stray just to protect, well, Kuniko, he will. He doesn't care. This is where, well, he doesn't even care about the Devil Society or anything at all. He really does not give a damn. All he's looking for is a good battle to the death. Other than that, well, not entirely to a good battle to the death. He won't be holding back anytime soon. He's not like Kenpachi and Rajon Cannon. This Kenpachi is more like he doesn't hold back at all. Because, well, this Kenpachi is actually the one to kill Unohana. But yeah, and the fact that he stops holding back and knows about his own sword's name. So yeah, this is where, well, they notice how Issei kills the devil's mostly guards who are carrying the world. He like looked at them with just meh. This is where, well, the high-ranking devil says, "Kill them! Kill him! kill the Nekomaru and the Red Dragon. Before he even can keep talking, Issei grabbed this man from the head, and Issei right now squished his, right now started adding Ryatsu into his hand, and this is where, well, crushing this devil's head in an instant. Literally, it took only 2 seconds. Plop! This is where, well, Issei kills him, drops his body to the ground. Issei looks at the, well, guard devils who are actually rushing towards him. Issei right now grins, and this is where his eyes right now almost went yellow in an instant. And right now the spiritual Ryatsu goes into a sword, and he swings it down with one hand, and kaboom! Kills all the devil guards in an instant. All the kind of like noble devils who are high-ranking devils, the youngly devils right now are just horrified to see, well, the Red Dragon Emperor just slaughter a bunch of devil guards in an instant, and a noble devil without a care in the world. This is where Issei is laughing. What a bunch of weaklings, aren't they? This is where Koneko is shocked to hear mostly Issei just say that without a care in the world. He says that with such a straight, or not even a straight face, a very psychotic green face. Mostly kind of looks like hers when she went into a berserk state to try to kill her sister and mostly her friends. This is where, well, mostly Surgex is seeing the situation. It went out of hand real fast. This went out of hand so fast. It wasn't even due to mostly Issei's pervertedness. It was due to Issei's psychoticness now. This is where, well, Surgex needs to stop this at once. This is where, well, Michael is just shocked. Irina is horrified to see Issei just kill a bunch of, like, guard devils and even a noble devil with a care in the world. Like, he crushed this guy like a goddamn watermelon. Boom! But yeah, this is where, well, mostly Azo is horrified to see this. Now, this is where, well, we go into Dragon King right now dealing with mostly Biku. Still dealing with Biku because Biku wants to start a fight with, well, mostly Tani. No, Tani, but yeah. Tani felt the power, felt the yellow flash of light that was near the noble side. Biku was confused, and Biku says, what was that? This is where Tani starts running. Fuck that shit. This is where, well, Tani just starts flying. This is where Biku says, hey, where are you going? This is where Tani says, far, far fucking away from that fucking place. A monster has just come out. I'm not dealing with that monster. This is where, well, he starts fucking flying away, but yeah. This is where, well, he's flying at high speeds. This is where Biku still managed to catch up to mostly Tani, even somehow, with his cloud. And this is where he says, what do you mean a monster? What is happening? I don't know who exactly pissed the fuck out of Issei, but whoever did it, they're going to fucking see true hell and the fucking true meaning of death. Wait, Issei, you mean the Red Dragon Emperor? Yep, and I was the one to train him, and that motherfucker was trying to kill me every damn time. Wait. You, a Dragon King, were about to die towards well, just an Incarnation Devil? Incarnation Devil, my ass. He ripped out those evil pieces a long time ago. During the battle between me and him, he ripped him out with a care in the roar and crushed him through out his hands. He's no Incarnation Devil no more. He's literally the true meaning of death. That's right, well, Biku just gulps in an instant because he can just say, what the fuck? He never heard of some Incarnation Devil just ripping out the pieces out of his body and just crushing them in his hand. This is where, well, he gulps because, well, he remembers kind of sending an attack strike towards mostly the Nekomaru, the white-haired Nekomaru, who was actually in berserk state. But Issei managed to block that with basically his sword, and his sword looked like it actually cut a little bit of his staff, which there's not many people that can cut his staff, or even punch or hurt it or whatever. This is where, well, he is a little gulping scared if Issei was actually truly serious. This is where, well, they're in that battle. But then again, he remembers how Issei was. He wasn't even that serious to even look at the group. He didn't even care about the group. He looked at them with just an unmused look that much. And just grabbed the white hair or Nekomaru. And this is where, well, we go back into mostly the POV of Issei. Issei is laughing, saying, was that all you can do? I thought you said you were going to kill me. Pathetic, you see. Oh, well, mostly not see. What the hell did I just say? You see? I am not pathetic. You are. This is where, well, Issei is grinning like a madman. But this is where, well, Sir Orcus decides to step in because he knows that he needs to step in. Because it seems that the Noble Devil did just piss the fuck off the Red Dragon Emperor. Which mostly, yes, he can know that mostly the Red Dragon Emperor does get pissed. Because, well, yeah. But this is where, well, Sir Orcus says, I cannot let you hurt any more devils here. This is where, well, we'll see Surgex notice the whole kind of situation happening. And of course, where, well, Issei says, and what are you going to do? Stop me? Are you here to kill me also? This is where, well, we'll see, Sir Orcus says, no, I'm not here to kill you. Not at all. This is where, well, Issei kind of noticed from his corner of his eye, he noticed Azia right now having her kind of mouth be covered up by a devil who actually has a vicious kind of lustful grin. And this is where he says, "Ooh, the situation couldn't be any better. I can take you without anyone noticing." This is where, well, before he can even make a magic circle behind him, this is where someone appears. Mostly, Sir Orcus was looking at mostly Issei, blinked his eye, mostly his eye blinked once, and Issei was gone. And this is where, well, most of the person that was actually holding Azia and actually grinning with such a lustful kind of grin because he's actually going to basically take the purity of this mostly nun. This is where, well, he then kind of felt like he hit something behind him, like a wall or something. He turns around and he sees none other than a very pissed off Issei. Not a very happy, not an insane Issei, a piss the fuck off Kenpachi Zaraki Issei. But yeah, this is where, well, he kind of looks like this. My man looked like this, having the sword behind him and just glaring into Mosi Diadora's eye. Literally one eye just daring to look into Diadora's eye. His soul and an instinct. This is where Diodora can only think of one fucking thing in his mind. He's going to fucking die. This is where, well, we'll see Diodora lets go of Azia and says, "Oh, there's no situation here. I was just holding on to Azia. I wasn't going to do anything." Before he can even say anything, his head was caught up in an instinct. Issei did not care. He did not care the bullshit excuse from a devil. Because he doesn't listen to devils at all. They're complete random with just full of shit most of the time. Especially those who are pure blooded. He doesn't care. He cut that motherfucker's head so fast that it didn't even look like he even moved for a second. This is where Diodora's head was cut off. This is where, well, when Ajuka saw this, he was in shock to see Diodora's head just launch off his body. This is where, well, he sees Diodora's body falls down in front of Issei. Issei says, "Ozzy, are you okay? Even though I don't care about your fucking feelings, I'm still somewhat worried about you." This is where, well, mostly Azia just looks at Issei with mostly a horrified expression. Of course, she was expecting that Issei was going to punch Diodora or kind of knock him out or something, or just tell him to fuck off, or just like leave her alone. No, Issei cut that motherfucker's head off so fast. He was on that fucking Black Force energy. He didn't care even one bit. There's no fucking care in his heart. There's zero care in his heart because he doesn't care. All he cares is for a good battle, or maybe that's the case. Or maybe there's something else that he cares about a lot. But who really knows? This is where, well, mostly Ajuka just saw this. Sir Orcus, Sir Zex, and even what's it called, Seraphon notices. This is where Sona saw this, and she realized that Issei is truly on that Black Force energy, does not care. This is where Sanji said, "Damn!" He was the only one kind of just saying a word, "Damn!" But this is where, well, everyone else was just shocked. Pure silence. This is where, well, Azo was shocked. He did know that mostly Diodora was kind of suspicious and kind of sketchy most of the time. But he wouldn't do anything. No, Issei wasn't one to do anything. He fucking cut that motherfucker's head so fucking fast and no one ever could even fucking see it. If they blink, it was gone. Even if they managed to keep tracking Issei, his movement was so fast, but whatever. This is where, well, Sir Zex is now having to need to kind of stop Issei. This is where, well, before he can do anything, Ajuka kind of screams in anger, and this is where Ajuka right now makes a bunch of magic circles around Issei to right now, well, try to stop him. This is where Issei noticed the magic circles, and this is where, well, he didn't even care. He used a bit of Rialto just to explode the magic circles out of his face. This is where right now Ajuka says, You kill him! Why? This is where he's screaming in anger. Issei said, with such a vicious grin on his face, "I killed him because he was an annoying pest." That's all he said. He didn't say it's because he didn't want to explain the bullshit truth. He knew what mostly Diodora was going to try to do. He saw the face. He knew what that look was. He's seen it multiple times on his perverted friends and some also other like perverted people around mostly when he was younger. But this is where, well, he knew what that fucking face meant like. Yeah, no. Instead of explaining the truth, he wanted to just say that, yeah, he killed him for fun. Other than that, there's no other fucking reason. Why would he try to explain something bullcrap? Because people will not understand because they're only feeling their emotions. Their emotions are the only thing that's taking control of the person. Because if you just see like your brother just die, like your younger brother just die right in front of you, you're going to think that mostly the person that killed him was basically just a murderer, psychotic murderer. You're not going to understand the first meaning of like, why did he do this? No, the first thing that you have an instinct to kill the bastard who killed your brother, and then figure out why he did it, or just grieve after that. This is where, well, there's no figuring out why he did it at first sight. But yeah, I mean, if there's actually something, if you actually wonder and like first and why someone just killed your brother or something, just like before you try to like fight them or something, I feel like you're a psychopath that doesn't care about their sibling. Which I forgot. Mostly I would give you a congratulations, because I usually don't care about my sibling either, because they're annoying as hell. But this is where, well, we'll see. Issei kind of sees Ajuka getting angry. Ajuka is right now kind of sending multiple magic circles straight towards mostly Issei. This is where everyone that was near Issei kind of jumped out of the way. Even Ozzy was actually grabbed by mostly, what's it called, Kiba. And this is where, well, magic attacks smash into Issei. And Issei was just walking through that attack so had a care in the world. Koneko was confused, scared, and didn't know what to do. She either could run away, because mostly the Double Society seems to see her as a threat, or try to help Issei and stop him. Or she didn't actually understand. But this is where, well, she knows how mostly Ajuka actually hit him with the attack. It was a very powerful attack, and yet Issei walked through that shit without a care in the world. Issei kind of grins right now, a psychotic grin right in front of Ajuka. Even though Ajuka was the one to give him the eye patch, it still doesn't suppress too much of his Ryotsu. It suppresses only his magic and the Red Dragon Emperor, or mostly Red Dragon Empress, if you want to go in Pacific, because she is a girl. This is where, well, we'll see Achuka just sees this and just widens his eyes. And before he can even react, his arm was cut off in an instant. Achuka screams in pain and falls down to the ground. This is where Sursex needed to act now. He needed to just act. Right now, Surfer, right now, horrified, grabs her kind of face in an instant because she just sees one of her best friends just get his arm mostly cut off. This is where, well, Azo is shocked to see another scientist be easily just taken out. This is where, well, another scientist, another fellow scientist just be easily taken out. Someone that was quite powerful, but yet get taken out somewhat. He's not fully dead, but yeah, his arm was taken off. This is where, well, Michael just sees this and just sees horrified. This is where, well, mostly, right now, Achuka tries to kind of put out his hand and right now do one magic last circle attack. It's mostly to affect mostly the evil pieces. This is where, well, mostly Achuka says, "Why aren't you going down? I did an evil piece, what's it called? Safety plan. If something like this happened." This is where, well, mostly Sursex is confused. Also, everyone's confused. Issei right now looks at Achuka with such a psychotic grin. "Oh, you're talking about the evil pieces." Well, Issei goes into his jacket and starts pulling out something that's in his hand. He then just drops these pieces, red pieces, onto the ground. They're all bloody. They still have blood stains on it, but this were just small pieces fell down to the ground. So many pieces that are actually considered to be 8 pawn pieces. 8, well, used to be pawn pieces. Now it's all shattered and broken. This is where, well, right now making Achuka wind his eyes. Issei grins and saying, "I'm no devil. Bitch, I'm no incarnation devil. I am just a normal human that doesn't care about Devil Society. Do you think I give a damn?" This is where, well, Issei right now said we had a care in the world. This is where, well, mostly Issei said with just no care. Achuka right now sees his mostly creation just be destroyed right in front of him. His evil pieces. Since he was the one to create the evil pieces system, he just sees how Issei just didn't care. This man is no longer a devil. No, he's no longer a human because this motherfucker could not just do something like that. That's crazy to think about. He's either a dragon or just something else entirely. This is where, well, Sursex needed to stepped in. This is where a red aura appears around him. This is where, well, Azo says, "Sursex, what are you?" Sursex says, "I need everyone to get out of here now. I'll be fighting Issei alone." Issei looks at Sursex and grins and says, "So, you'll be fighting me? Siscon of, well, mostly Siscon Lucifer?" This is where, well, Sursex says, "Issei, I do not know what happened to you. I do not understand and why you change. Why did you change?" Issei said, "Why did I change?" Issei saw mostly a bunch of people leaving, and this is where Issei says, "I'm going to destroy Rhea Skirmer's fucking reputation because she's not even here to help us. So I guess I'll just destroy her reputation while her being here." You want to know why I changed? I changed because I found out the truth about my incarnation bullcrap. This is where we'll see everyone froze in an instant before they can all move. This is where Koneko froze also. Because she knows about mostly Issei's reincarnation, and she is shocked to hear about Issei's hearing about his own, knowing about his own reincarnation. Akuno is not there for some reason, but this is where Kiba hears it, and he was confused. He actually wasn't there to actually understand and why mostly how Issei got reincarnated entirely. But this is where he was just confused. Koneko was there, Akuno was there, and was kind of Azia, but mostly Rias was there to kind of talk about his incarnation and how they were going to do it. Now that mostly Issei knows about it, because they did not want to tell Issei, Kiba, or even Ozzy or anyone else who joined the barrage, they would take that to the grave, but Issei found out. The man who literally got reincarnated to be an 8-pound piece for Ria's Gremory to get out of a marriage, found out about his incarnation later on. This is where, right now, Koneko wants to say no to Issei to not say something like that. Issei said, because in my date with the fallen angel named Rainer, or also known Yuma Mato, who gives a damn, she killed me on my date, and I had a contract for mostly the Gremory symbol. I didn't even know about the supernatural at that time. I didn't even know anything about the supernatural. But no, you know what your sister did? She let me fucking die against Rainer. She could have warned me about mostly the fallen angel. She could have at least explained why the fallen angel would be targeting me. But no, instead of warning me, she let me die so she can have a new 8-pound piece Red Dragon Emperor. Huh? Doesn't that sound fucking fucked up in anyone's opinion? Probably the high-ranking devils won't think of that being fucked up, but anyone else who are considered to be the mostly Satan faction would think that would be so messed up. But who gives a damn about humans' opinions, don't you think? This is where Issei said with such venom, hatred, and everything. This is where making mostly. Well, Sir X Wine has eyes. He wasn't thinking his little sister. His little cute sister would be doing something that sketchy as hell. This is where, he realized that Issei changed in that 1 month because he found out. This is where, he would also be pissed if someone did that to him. But still, Issei has changed. He's no longer a kind red-hearted, not red-hearted, mostly a kind Red Dragon Emperor, mostly hearted Red Dragon Emperor. He is now a cold, bloodthirsty, and murderous Red Dragon Emperor. He is just like the other previous users, which the other previous users would have used a boosted gear to fight anyone. But Issei's using a sword without using the boosted gear and hasn't having an eye patch. This is where, mostly right now, Surgeons can only kind of think that Issei's not using the boosted gear because he doesn't care about using the boosted gear. He thinks his power will be alone to be able to defeat Lucifer. Which, yes it is. Kenpachi is completely stronger than Surgex, but not the point. This is where, mostly we go into Surgex. Is that the truth? Well, I still can't let you just go on a rampage and killing people. I will stop you at once, even if I have to destroy you. This is where, Surgex right now uses his destruction magic, and since balls of destruction strike towards Issei. Issei right now swings his sword once, and mostly Surgex was thinking that Issei's sword would be destroyed. No, the sword literally cut through the ball of destruction without a care in the world. Issei rushes at Surgex saying, "Is that all you can do? What kind of bullshit answer is that? Trying to destroy me, my ass!" This is where mostly Sir Sex Wine has eyes. The sword is about to hit him until Sir Sex right now makes a aura of mostly destruction magic around him to block it. Or try to block it. Or mostly just destroy the sword. No, the sword ripped through his fucking mostly destruction magic. Ripped through his clothes and ripped through his skin in an instant. Giving him a huge slash down the chest. This is where Sir Sex Wine has eyes because that sword is not normal. That sword is mostly like made out of something else. This is where, Zerda coughs up some blood, and this is where, he falls down to mostly one knee. Everyone saw this and sees mostly that Surgex is losing against the Red Dragon Emperor. Everyone else winds their eyes because seeing this battle is not a battle, it's a one-sided slaughter. Clearly, Issei is much more powerful, stronger than mostly that of Surgex. And this is where Issei grins right now, looking at Surgex down on his knees. Mostly one knee. This is where mostly Issei grins and saying, "Is that all you can do? Please. I thought mostly the great, or red, mostly the red Lucifer, would be able to take me out. Huh? This is where, well, Surge right now sent a stronger and bigger ball of destruction magic, but Issei grabs it in an instant, but instead of destroying his, like, hand, Issei starts using Ryasu to right now overpower the ball of destruction, then just crushing his hands, destroying and dispelling the red ball. Right now, Surge wipes his eyes, and this is where he gets his head grabbed by Issei, and Issei right now smash him down to the ground. This is where Issei then uses the sword to pierce mostly Surge somewhere in his, like, lungs, stabbing him in one of his lungs. This is where he's coughing up blood because mostly blood is going into his lung. This is where, well, mostly he's choking on blood, but yeah. This is where, well, mostly Issei takes out his sword out of mostly Surge's lung and then pierces him right in his throat to shut him up. This is where, well, Surge is now coughing up blood and losing actually blood. This is where he's choking on blood also. Internal bleeding, and choking on his own blood. And also kind of not having a, lung actually be able to work on him. Also having a huge slash, which is considered to be bleeding a lot. This is where, oh, mostly arrow wind their eyes. Seraphor realized that mostly Ajuka's hurt, and also her best friend, who is actually the mostly Lucifer, being that of Surge, is also hurt. This is where she sees this and she doesn't know what to do. She can't fight against the Red Dragon Emperor. The reason why is because she, even though she is the strongest kind of like mostly female devil in the underworld, she doesn't know she would be able to go against Issei because mostly Surge and also Ajuka were considered to be strong, and Issei just wiped the floor with them. Issei is considered to be just beyond anyone's kind of mostly power. But this is where, well, mostly Issei noticed was something from his corner of his eye. Well, mostly in the further back, mostly from the devils. He noticed the white hair kind of dark skinned person who actually was kind of fighting against those like mostly youngling devils in the beginning. The one kind of noble devil that got kind of clocked out by Sir Orcus was actually grabbing onto Koneko's neck and saying, wow, I guess if we're going to die, I guess my last mostly pleasurous time would just be R-ing you, Nekomaru. This is where, well, he's grinning, and this is where, well, he's trying to take his pants off, and this is where, well, mostly Koneko is crying a little bit. This is where, well, she then realized that she might have to just accept it because she's going to die, until she then hears a voice. This is where, well, she turns kind of around. Even the upper-looking devil kind of looks up and says, huh? This is where he looks at Rias, Akano, and also a devil who is actually also considered to be noble, but they all seem to be in shambles white clothing, and realize mostly Koneko can actually smell the mostly sexual stuff they actually did. So the kind of aroma from what it gives off, mostly from all three of them. This is where Koneko winds her eyes. She realized that mostly Rias and Akano betray mostly just Issei and love if Issei ever actually cared about them, but Issei changed entirely. And this is where, well, the person also smells it, and this is where he just says, "You bastard, you fuck both of them? I thought you would actually share with me." This is where the person says, "Share with you? Oh, please. It's not like I would ever share with pathetic weaklings that's about to just try to R the Nekomaru." Which, you see here, her tiny thing would not be able to do anything to her. You should just let her be mine. She can be my little pleasurous toy. This is where, well, making the high ranking that would kind of grin, but yeah. The person is actually, what's it called? Mostly a guy with kind of reddish and orangey hair. Well, reddish and blondish hair. This is where, well, the person is actually a cousin of Rias, because this person is actually a kind of phoenix in a, what's it called, grammar mixed together. Because mostly the Grammary and Phoenix, they did want to make a child mostly together. So of course that did happen, but with mostly, or not a Grammary and mostly, a Phoenix. But it is a Phoenix mixed with something else, but not the point. This is where, well, the person is literally kind of looks like Riser, but much more arrogant. Literally much more arrogant. He has spiky blonde hair, and of course his eyes are mostly red somewhat. This is where, well, his name is Naruto Phoenix. This is where, well, mostly Koneko gets shiver, and this is where mostly Rias and Akano says, Rias right now demands mostly Koneko to become his toy. And this is where Akano says, I agree with that, ara. This is where, well, mostly Koneko shivers after hearing that, because she does not want to just become a toy for anyone. This is where, well, mostly Issei decides to rush straight to the younger devils, and the younger devils right now gets out of the way, but when they turn around, they see the devil, that one younger devil that actually wanted to cause trouble for mostly the Silkry. I forgot, I think that's her name. But this is where, well, mostly Issei cut off his head in an instant saying, die. This is where, well, the guy's head was taken off. This is where we'll almost see both Rias and Akano widen their eyes. Even the Phoenix, who's named Naruto Phoenix, widen his eyes as we're seeing mostly the battle. This is where, well, the brutal kind of like mostly cut his head off and then just kicked his body off of mostly Koneko. Issei grabs Koneko and says, "Wow, I cannot leave you for any couple of seconds before you getting murdered or even art. Jesus fucking Christ. I don't give a damn that much." This is where, well, he said that without a care in the world, and mostly made a bunch of people's heads almost hurt because, again, Christ, they can't think of or even think or just hear about that word because it hurts their heads. But yeah, this is where, well, Issei says, "But whatever, I don't care. Oh, it seems that you, Rias and Akano, had a pleasurable time with that guy. Well, I hope you guys can survive this technique, because I'm gonna wipe you guys from existence. Rias, I'm going to make sure your fucking life is, well, mostly death, because your bitch ass tried to reincarnate me without me knowing what you did? Yeah, right in hell." This is where we'll almost see Rias wind her eyes after hearing what Issei said, and Issei swings his sword down and a huge yellow burst of light, bigger than most of the ones that he wiped out the guard with, literally appeared. Kaboom! This is where, well, the attack almost wiped out, well, mostly Rias, Akano, or even the Phoenix. But this is where, well, it didn't wipe them out, but mostly left mostly Rias with a huge kind of scar down her chest. And of course, mostly ripped out one of her kind of arms that cannot be repaired with Phoenix tears. This is where, well, she's right now crying, and this is where, well, she's right now in fully pain. The Phoenix Naruto was actually fine, and Akano, she had a leg ripped off of her. But this is where, well, the Phoenix Naruto says, "What the? Huh, you two can't even regenerate. Well, I'll give you some Phoenix tears then, but you girls will have to become more pleasurable for my musing." This is where he tries to give the Phoenix tears for mostly both of them, and realized that both of the Phoenix tears cannot regenerate them. This is where, well, he realized that the Phoenix tears are useless against the person named Issei, who actually can easily kill and actually rip actually limbs, and the Phoenix tears do not regenerate them at all. This is where, oh, mostly Issei is now kind of gone. He disappeared. He used his flash up to get out of the way, because he knows that mostly a bunch of devils will go after him. And he does know that, first of all, he can take out an army, but right now having Koneko with him, he cannot take them out. This is where, well, he decides to kind of just run off. But yeah, a tactical retreat, if that's what you like to call it. But whatever. This is where, well, we go into mostly Koneko trying to tell Issei to stop this now, stop. This is where, well, Issei says, "Shut up already, you damn brat. Do you not see him trying to help you?" This is where, well, right now Koneko says, "Why? Did you just not see what you just did? The Devil Society will be after us, the fallen angels, the angels." "Yeah, who cares? I would just have to become stronger than all of them. The human instinct to become stronger. That's the way to go." This is where, well, Koneko says, "I don't have that instinct." "No, but you have your Nekomaru instinct. You have an instinct to kind of live. Do you not realize you're the last? Do you not realize that you are the last type of Nekomaru, except for your older sister? You should live on and have multiple children, not just fucking die and let your fucking race disappear with them. Your sister might have fucking killed a devil. Whatever devil story of high-ranking bullcrap they used to have, because I remember hearing something about that from Tani." This is where, well, mostly, right now, Koneko stays quiet. From my understanding, you, mostly a Nekomaru, mostly from your sister killed your master. Your master could have been a fucking bastard for all I know. For all you know. He could have been the worst fucking bastard in the whole existence. He could have been the huge, more bigger pervert than I, and even Wiser Phoenix, and my two other idiotic friends, all mixed together, and just be worse than us. Do you realize what type of sister just saved you? She probably saved you out of her kind of kindness of heart, but you hate her for no other reason than just because she killed a master that's probably just a bastard in mostly disguise." This is where, well, mostly Issei said without a care in the world. This is where, well, mostly Koneko says, "How do you know that he was a bastard?" Issei says, "How do I know if he was a bastard or not? Why, I don't. I'm not an idiot. I don't trust devils. But why do you trust me? I trust only incarnation devils. Because they know about my pain, and they know about how they were treated. I was basically treated as your fucking tool, as someone to protect, shield, and protect all of you. You think I'm gonna be fucking willing to do that after hearing what I just heard after a while, after I found out? You bastards tried to just reincarnate me and never talk about the reincarnation ever again. You bastards just set me up to die for Rainer. This is where Momoshi Koneko flinches at that, and this is where Issei says, and I know that you, Akano, and that slutty red hair fucking did all that just so I can actually help her and save her from her fucking arranged marriage. You know, she could have fucking trained her destruction magic. She could have asked her brother for training. But no, she decides to go get some innocent human life to actually be reincarnated. To make her life much easier. That's complete bullshit. You think I'd rather fucking help some dumb bitch like that? The only reason why I'm helping you is because I would rather let, well, mostly you suffer with me and try to stop me from killing the devils, which you're just going to be watching most of the time. And, well, other than that, I'm also kind of, well, thinking of kind of joining the Chaos Brigade just for the fuck of it. This is where, well, mostly Koneko says, how are you going to do that? Issei literally points at her, and this is where, well, Koneko says, you're not gonna. I'm going to fucking use you as a bargaining chip to trade you to kind of go into mostly your sister, Koroka, and I would join the Chaos Brigade by myself after that. But yeah. This is where, well, mostly be able to join after that, but not the point. This is where, well, mostly Koneko says, that's why you were the reason to save me from my sister in the first place. Issei says, no, I did that just because why not? Also, your berserk state, you need someone to help you and actually train you that. Jesus fucking Christ, you suck at doing a lot of things. You might be good at punching, fighting, and other things just because of a rook status, but if you don't have a rook status, how would they be able to find you? This is where, well, mostly Koneko says, what do you mean? This is where Issei right now shoved his hand into mostly Koneko's chest, and this is where he ripped out mostly something from her chest. An evil piece that was had rook. This is where he shatters it and throws it out of the way. Right now, Koneko was actually shocking, right now going to shock because of the fact that he ripped that piece out of her body. This is where, well, but this is where something he did was actually leave the kind of rook strength into her body still, but destroy the evil piece and just throw it away, but yeah. This is where, well, we go into a time skip about a week ago. The devils cannot find the 2 stray devils, or mostly the 2.5 stray devils, because mostly one is not a devil and the other is supposed to be a devil. But they found the evil pieces of the rook status, so consider them to be one pure Nakamoto and one pure human. Somewhat human, mostly a monster. And this is where, well, mostly everyone is just shocked to see mostly 2 members of mostly the Grammar Barrage just disappear. Ajuka is extremely hurt, but his arm was able to be repaired later, thanks to mostly a robotic arm, similar to that of what Azu kind of gave him. And of course, mostly, what's it called, Lucifer, Sword 6 Lucifer was right now in critical damage. So of course, he could not be fully out of the hospital. But then there was mostly Rias Gremory and also Akano Henchima, which they actually kind of just became servants of mostly Naruto Phoenix. This were, well, became mostly servants of Pleasure's time, not really anything else. But yeah, they became lower down to their ranks from mostly Rias becoming a high ranking devil to mostly a low ranking devil, and just something for mostly Naruto to use, and also mostly, what's it called? Akano the same. But of course, Baraku was very angry and wanted to destroy the devils for that. This is where, well, he blamed the devils a lot, even the dragon, mostly the Red Dragon Emperor for what he just did for mostly Akano. But this is where, well, a lot of things is happening. Mostly the alliance between the kind of 3 factions is going iffy. The fallen angels are mostly like Baraku and mostly other fallen angels that have mostly hatred against devils are kind of just splitting off from the fallen angel mostly group. This is where Azu doesn't know what to do. He kind of just lost another son, or mostly a daughter. Well, he lost a daughter like Valerie Lucifer, and then lost a son. Well, let me say that again. He lost 3 daughters and now a son that he saw just because they went rogue. They either died or they just kind of had to be sealed away. This is where, well, mostly Azu does not know what to do. he actually stopped becoming the kind of, well, mostly the fallen angel of the governor. So mostly Baraka had to take over just because he was angry. He's right now iffy with the devils and actually is thinking to just get out of the alliance. So mostly the devils won't hurt the fallen angels no more. Well, Asa is actually in his depressed state. He doesn't know what to do. Now, mostly, what's it called? The angels themselves doesn't know if they should stay any longer because mostly Irina, she's actually upset and very angry. She's now right now kind of being comfortable by mostly what's it called? What was her name? Graviel. She's actually being comforted by Graviel. And Graviel in this one, she's actually going to be a little bit different from her kind, gentle self. She shows a little bit more aggression and other things, unlike her brother who's actually kind-hearted and other things. So of course she's actually thinking of taking over mostly Michael's spot, or mostly making a different part of the angel faction for any angels that doesn't like the devils, and actually move into a different kind of part of the heaven. So mostly Michael doesn't have any control for those angels. This is where, well, of course, then there's mostly also the devil faction. The devil faction is quite in critical damage. This is where, well, the only reason it's in quite critical damage is because thanks to mostly Odin's son, Loki, who was able to be free after a while, thanks to the fact that that barrier didn't actually take him a while, he managed to go on a very rampage of destruction of sending just a lot of like different northern magic attacks straight to the devils, just because he was angry and pissed. Now, of course, thanks to the fallen angels, or angels not thinking of helping the devils were right now critically fully damaged. This is what, well, the Gremory, mostly Sona's Parage didn't actually show up to fight against Loki, but after mostly Loki's kind of damaging, the Underworld a lot, it kind of triggered, Loki to accidentally fight against Issei one time, because Issei was moving and even Koneko to get to the human world, but they managed to kind of get attacked by Loki, but Loki kind of got a slash that was almost about to rip him apart. But Loki was down on the ground, and Loki managed to heal after a while. But then noticed that Kenpachi, also Zaraki, Kenpachi, and Koneko left. This worked well because he only heard about that guy's name, Zaraki, Kenpachi, but yeah. Yes, Issei is going to fully change his name to Zaraki, and no longer Issei. So Zaraki, Kenpachi. So when I say Zaraki, I'm literally talking about Issei, but yeah. But not the point. This worked well. They get to the human world somehow by mostly, using a magic, mostly a devil, who was actually able to use magic teleportation to the, upper world, being that of, mostly human world. But of course, after a while, Issei just cut his head off and done. So of course, mostly they ran off. But yeah, they were no longer in Japan, but now somewhere in Europe. But not the point. Well, not Europe. Mostly they were somewhere in Russia. But yeah. But this is where, this is where we go into mostly the kind of, mostly not Nekomaru and Shinigami. Actually, we go into the Shinigami and Nekomaru. Because, yes, Issei isn't considered to be human. He's a Shinigami. So, yeah. Issei and also the Nekomaru are just kind of out in the wilderness. But, yeah. Just training, or, just surviving. But, yeah. Koneko is trying to just train on her powers, because she's not going to just be some bargaining tool for Issei to use to kind of get into the Chaos Brigade, just because he's willing to kind of join a terrorist group. She's not willing to join it. Of course, she tried to fight Issei most of the time, but Issei is too much more stronger than her. So, of course, she either needs to just ask for her kind of kidnapper, which is not entirely a kidnapper, mostly for training. But, of course, Issei doesn't really mind training her, but yeah, just to make her stronger so she can shut up most of the time, but yeah. This is what, mostly all of that is happening. Now I should mention about the Gremory Parage. I forgot about the Gremory Parage. I did mention that Rias and Nakono have just became someone's toy. Right now with Kiba and even what's it called, Azia. Azia is actually a free piece, but she's actually kind of living with the Gremory. Even that of like, Kiba was also living with the Gremory. They cannot go to school or any of that. Well, I mean, they still can go to school. They just go back to the Gremory state. But yeah. It doesn't work well. Mostly, that was a thing. Also, mostly, Zenobia. Zenobia is also with the same thing, with the same boat of, like, Kiba and mostly Azia, but yeah. Now, with Rosawai, she still goes with Odin and actually stays with Odin, but yeah. That doesn't really change anything. But other than that, I'm thinking of leaving it off here for mostly part 3 of this what if. Yeah, part 3. Wait. So yeah, part 3 of this what if. Part 4 might be. I'll be still thinking about what I'm gonna do for part 4, but this is part 3. Other than that, bye soon. Yeah, bye.